Hey guys, SickMotion here with the 5.12 patch notes. I totally didn't realize there was a patch, so I'm gonna just run through this video real quick. Blah blah, bunch of stuff. They recoded the line projectile skill shot, so apparently they're gonna be more reactive now. The one thing that I'm more interested in, I don't know if it fixed, it didn't say anything in here when I read through it, is when you teleport and then you throw it's usually a Q. I know it's on Olaf Axe, there's a couple other ones, but Olaf Axe is the one that I'm thinking about. If you throw it right when you arrive at your teleport location, regardless of where your mouse is, it will throw it to where you teleported from. And it's excessively annoying. It's missed out a lot of kills for me, and a lot of people have made fun of me. It's not my fault, so I want that fixed. Recall changes, normalizing the window to 0.1 second rather than randomly between 0 and 0.25. Sometimes you would hit someone when it looks like you should have interrupted and it wouldn't. Sometimes you feel like you shouldn't have been interrupted and you were. Kind of annoying. So hopefully that's fixed a little. Um, Ash, you can't throw your volley into a bunch of minions to instantly gain your Q stacks anymore. It only gains one stack per volley, or R doesn't count for the AoE collaterals in there. So Ash will be a little weaker. I think that's actually a healthy change. It's not lowering any of her numbers or anything. It's just they realized it was stronger than intended, I guess. Brahm's Q damage up, mana cost down, because no one plays Brahm anymore. Echo, mana growth stat was raised, base attack speed was lowered. His attack speed was pretty big. His attack speed growth stat up. Passive does less damage, flat, and per level. Ability power ratio on the initial hit of your Q is 0.1 less. This is the big change though. His R now has a mana cost from 0 mana to 100 mana, and it's a little bit less damage radius, so it's not going to just be like, I'm completely oom and I can run around like a jackass and just press my alt and be free. He'll actually be killable a lot more now, so I think he's still really strong. I think he's almost too strong still, but that's a step in the right direction. Elise had a bunch of changes. This patch is actually pretty much the Elise patch, from the new jungle item to the direct changes to her. No longer has on-hit healing to Elise's Spiderling and basic attacks, the Skittering Frenzy. But now in her spider form, each of her basic attacks in spider form heal her. But I don't think the spider's attacks heal her, so looks like a little bit less, but the repel, this is kind of cool. A lot of junglers will level up their E for the longer stun duration on the cocoon, but it also makes the repel more usable, like more utility, but now it actually has more damage as well. You can get up to 100% damage and healing increased for 5 seconds upon landing. So that spider form execute is going to be really strong if you've repelled onto them and they were low. So the chase on her is going to be really strong. This change on Galio is actually really, really cool. Base damage increase has been doubled because the maximum damage cap has been doubled. So it's going to take just as many hits to get it. It's going to take 8 hits to get the max damage cap. Base damage are lowered a little bit to compensate for the fact that you can now get 80% damage cap. So it goes up to a 1.0 AP ratio plus 720 base if you've gotten all those hits and if you hit an amazing ult. So say you have, like a normal amount of AP, you could have like 300 to 400 if you're building kind of like tanky AP. That's going to be hitting for over 1,000 before MR, obviously. That's pretty big. It's easy to stop with a lot of on-hit silences like Garen, stuns like Udyr, as well as Braum being buffed, the Braum passive going off if he taunts Braum and some teammates in there. But I think Galio's definitely in a better place, obviously. Slow duration on the barrel is now goes up to 150%, but lowered base maxes at 2 rather than always being 2 now. And his base health regen is lowered because Gragas is just a monster in the jungle. I think he's still going to be a monster, but he's definitely a little weaker. His sustain in the jungle is going to be a little less, and his catch. Finally, Jarvan's E cooldown goes down as you level it. Since they took off a lot of what the E did, I guess they feel it safe to lower the cooldown per level. So that's nice buff to him. It also no longer messes with the jungle path to monsters. This is I'm conflicted about this Jax change here. I was playing a lot of Jax recently. like for the past month or two. I love playing Jax. I played Jax forever. A lot of people know. Now he gains 10, 15, and 20 extra bonus armor and magic resist for popping his ultimate. Everyone's like, oh, well, why is that a problem if you like playing Jax? Because now everyone's gonna play Jax, and this patch is also about kind of freeing up split pushing by making the inhibitor towers weaker. So Jax is a split pusher. He got a buff. Split pushing is now better. Now people are gonna be picking and banning Jax a lot more, which makes me sad. But if I'm the one playing Jax, I'll obviously be a bit more happy. Lux's shield now shields herself immediately on cast. Slow zone radius on the E is a little bigger. Can be recast in flight to detonate on arrival. Bit of a quality of life change there that you don't have to just keep mashing it to blow it up instantly. Although if you double tap it, it's going to blow up instantly even if you don't want it to, so that could be a problem. Now it has a neat light swirl to indicate when the ability is ready to be detonated, so that's cool. More sparkles, always good. Brutal strikes base damage down as well as AP ratio down by 0.05, but it has a 0.1 total armor. So I think that's overall gives a better feel to Malphite since you want to be stacking armor anyway. He has an armor ratio on his E. Fix the bugs where brutal strikes can be seen through fog of war, so you're not going to be caught counter jungling just because of that rather than them having a ward. Big changes to Rise here. Rune Prison and Spellflux no longer cancel his movement or attack orders, which is just a nice quality of life thing that you don't have to work around now. Passive duration is down to 2.5 seconds. Passive stack duration down to 10 seconds. Cooldown floor removed. It's no longer a quarter second. So if you're casting off 5 spells a second and a quarter, well, we'll just say 6 spells because it's easier. A second and a half of downtime in between casting spells. For what I'm getting from this is you're just going to be able to literally roll your face on the keyboard and cast spells as fast as you can push those buttons. So that's kind of cool, as long as the cooldown's up, obviously. This is how they balance out the fact that people were leveling up Snare on Rise and getting that 6-second passive and then just perma-snaring people. Increase the duration of Arcane Mastery's supercharged effect by leveling Q. So it kind of forces you into leveling your Q, or else you're not going to be able to get the long passive anyway. On top of all of that, they increased the scaling high-end damage on the Q. They increased the amount of start, but they normalized it at 40. So at max level, it's not going to be as much. You're a little less reliant on your mana, even though you're probably still going to be building a lot because you scale off of it. And the missile width was increased by an almighty 5, 1/20th of a Teemo. So that's good. Actually, that's bad. I hate Rise. Why are they buffing Rise? Just Q. I don't like playing Rise or against Rise that much, so we'll see how this happens. The root duration feels better at level 1 because it's 1 second. A 0.5 second root, or a 0.75 second root is like meh, but it only goes up to 0.4 now, so it's a little bit less at the high end. And its base damage is higher to start, lower to finish. So it's kind of like rebalancing Rise, but they force you to level Q basically from this, so you're not going to see that 9-second snare Rise type thing coming in. Trundle just direct buff to his health drain on R at levels 2 and 3, so maybe people remember Trundle's a champion. Trinimir's critical strike frame increased by 16%, now matches his basic attack frame. Trinimir, now that I think about it, I didn't realize that this was the case, but I cancel a lot of auto attacks on Trinimir, and almost always it feels like I only cancel the crits, and I was like, why is this the case? Because the crit animation is very flagrant and very out there. But now I realize that it was also easier to cancel it, so you're probably canceling more for that reason, and it's very noticeable when you do cancel it. So now that's fixed, so that's better if I ever play Trinimir again. Fixed the bug that was causing Zillion's QWQ combo to fire slower than intended. No one plays Zillion. And it'd be a splash update. Here's the second part of the Elise buff. Rune Glaive, blah blah blah, all of that stuff. Now is a tier 2 jungle item plus a sheen plus 200 gold to give 40 ability power, 200 mana, 10% CDR. It no longer gives the 20% broken CDR. It no longer gives the 80 broken AP. It gives you mana, so you're not going to be wanting to use it on resourceless AP junglers. But it does give you the next basic attack converted to magic damage and deals 75% base attack damage plus 0.3 ratio. bonus on hit area of effect on the ground, and restores 8% of your missing mana. Restoring missing mana as a percentage of what you're missing will keep you in the jungle and a lot healthier, a lot more often. I think that's really cool. It'll definitely help out a lot of AP junglers, be less reliant on the blue buff as well. Kind of cool that it converts your next basic attack into magic damage, like the full attack. So characters like Eve, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, who does a lot of physical damage if she goes for like that Trinity Force or more of a bruisery build who's autoing a lot. She does a lot of magic damage because her Q is magic, but she'll also be doing more from this. It'll be interesting to see how people want to build this to kind of do half magic, half physical damage, so it's going to be really hard to itemize defensively against those targets. Cinderhawk not only turns on its damage aura when the champion deliberately enters combat or is attacked, so this is kind of like Eve. If you walk into a, or sorry, not Eve, anyone who is going to be running Boots 5 might not tick it off for you if you're a jungler who builds a Cinderhawk and runs Boots 5, so that's nice. As well as totally forgot where I was going with this. I'm just going to stop. Anyway, defensive masteries, a whole bunch of changes on the defensive masteries here. I'm not going to pull up like a chart here to show you where everything's switched here. Swap places with Runic Blessing. So Runic Blessing is now switched with Oppression, but then removed and then swapped with Oppression down to here. Just the triple swap-a-roni. Tenacity is now 10% down from 15 because it's a tier 3. The damage reduction on Oppression is now 2% from 3%, so it doesn't seem as strong. Legendary Guardian is no longer 3 mastery points. It's 1 and grants 3 armor and magic resist per nearby enemy champion rather than feeling like you have to put a bunch of levels into it to make it useful. Enchanted Armor now is 4 mastery points and can give you up to 10% increased bonus in armor and magic resistance, so it's just like the god tier tank mastery pretty much rather than 5 from before. Swiftness now has 2 levels, 7.5, 15% slow resistance instead of just 10% slow resistance. Now occupies swiftness, 1 mastery point. Gain 4% of your bonus armor as magic resistance if you have more bonus armor than bonus magic, or vice versa. I'm not going to say that again. So basically, if you stack armor, you get some magic resist. If you stack magic resist, you get some armor. So that's kind of cool. And it's only 1 mastery point, so I don't see why you wouldn't take that. Here's that turret split pushing change. Lasers no longer slow and no longer reduce the target's damage, so it's very easy for that target to dive, as well as those times where you figure out, oh, maybe I shouldn't have dove this, and you're stuck in the base. You're not going to get slowed under that tower, just getting melted down. You're going to actually be able to get away a little quicker from that. Bunch of bug fixes, community rewards for the pool party stuff. So the blue range minions with purple necklaces that look like they have Baron buff are now going to be coming out. Bunch of new chroma packs. The only thing that really matters is Bubblegum Zac. Oh, and Goldie is pretty cool. But the Zac ones are just the most noticeable, so they're probably the coolest in my opinion. Other than that, that's the patch. A lot of changes. A lot of quite a few changes. So it'll be interesting to see how all of those play out. See if Ryze is still a permaban. See if Elise doesn't get reported for picking her anymore, type things, and see how influential that split pushing changes and how many people start picking up Jax and how we're going to have to deal with that. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button if you like that. Links to all my social media and stream are in the description there. And take it easy till next time.